Hi guys, welcome to this session on Power BI. In this module I want to look at creating some basic reports, but first of all I'm going to get some data which is in an Excel spreadsheet, bring that into Power BI and then manipulate the visualizations so you can see how you can quickly create a great dashboard in Power BI. So first of all, let's get the data. So at the front there you've got this option for Excel, but you've also got on the ribbon all these other options where you can get data from, but I'll click on this one and I need to navigate to where the data is, and it's in the Power BI folder data source. It's just an Excel spreadsheet. Now when it starts loading up, what you've got the choice of doing is manipulating that data before you bring it into Power BI. You might want to add columns, you might want to split columns up, you might want to do lots of things with the data. So it's now coming up with what's on that spreadsheet. So if I tick raw data, it should give me a preview, and that is the preview. If I click data, that's just a repeat of it. I think I don't want them both, so that's what I want. So this option means load it into Power BI straight away, or this option means transform the data. So if you look at this data, it's fairly straightforward. There's just single items in each column. There's nothing concatenated, if you like. So for example, it doesn't say Leeds, West Yorkshire, and if it did say that, I could then perhaps go into transform data and split the columns down so it's separate columns for the location and county. There's no country code there or anything like that, and the date format looks okay. So this is just simple data that I want to use to just demonstrate how you can create a dashboard. So I'm not going to go and transform the data. I've got other videos where you can see that being done. I'm going to click load. Now it should just load the data, and then you should see the fields for that spreadsheet appear in the fields area over here on the right. And if I expand that, you can see raw data now. It just shows you all the fields that's in there. Now the visualizations area is this area where you've got lots of different charts or graphs, if you like, maps even, where you can use this data to display in this format. You've also got filters. As soon as you start adding data, you've got filters that you can use, and at the moment they're just collapsed out of the way, but this area is where you can put the filters, which I'll do in a minute. So we've got a sheet. If I just double click on page 1, and we can name that as main data, and then you can create different sheets if you want with different views. It's all about what you want to present and how you want to manipulate the data set. So for example, if I want to look at location, if I tick location, let's see what happens. So it's just dropped location in as a list. Now that's not great, and it's quite a big list. So, well, it's that big. Let's put some figures next to it. So if I put spend, it'll give me the figures next to it, so that's okay. If I just click away from that, and then let's say I want to look at department, but before I do department, let's do it as a graph. So if I click on that graph there, so there's nothing there at the moment, but I can just drag and drop or tick department in there, and again I'll do spend, so it gives you the figure. So tick that, and then it's giving you the graph there. And if I click on these graphs, you can see that it gives you the information there. And when I click on it, this data in this table is reflecting what I click on here. So it's just doing the different format. At the moment I'm summarizing the data, but you've got these options here to select average, and then the figures will change to display that. If I put it back to sum, you can see how that works. And data is uncategorized. If I drop the arrow down, you've got other things in it. Postal code, I don't really want to do it by postal code, but you could. Now let's bring something else on. Let's go for another clustered column. I'll click off that one. This time I want it by location, and you see location. As soon as I drag and drop it there, it's gone into this area, and I do want spend again, so I'll just tick that on. So location spend, that's by department spend, and again if you click on any of these areas, it gives you the actual snapshot on the other elements that you've got in your dashboard. So click on that one, you can see that this department area is changing, and so is this table. And if you click off that, they'll all come back. It shows you everything. Now, so I've got this sort of area is now a bit cluttered, so I'm just going to leave this and go into a second sheet and just name this as sales. Click off that one, and then what you've got in this little group of tools is like map. If I click on map, it puts a map there. So if I tick location, let's see what the map does. So the location's giving us the world. Obviously don't really want the world, so if I just zoom in by double clicking, it should give me the map of the UK, which it does do with the main cities in the UK. If I just leave it like that, that's okay. And then I need to click on the spend. It's got the information at the top there. So location is in the legend. I want location there, and then it's giving me the spend. So if I just double click on Europe again, so zooming in on Europe, so I get the UK. So you can see how these all sit. So that's a little map. I'll just bring it down so it's, I'll make this a bit bigger actually. It's okay, so that'll do for that page. Let's get myself a new page, and I'll call this quarters. Let's look at quarter sales. So I haven't used that field at all. So if I drag onto this, in fact I haven't used colleague either, so let's go for colleague. That should just give us a list. There's a people, and then if I drag quarters on there, let's see what that comes up with. And then let's go for spend. So that's adding up quarters, I think. So quarter is no good. Don't want quarter on there, we'll just have spend. Just click away from that. That's the spend. Let's go for a pie chart, and let's just make that a little bit bigger. So what happened there was it replaced the table with the pie chart, which is okay. Now if you don't want, see it's giving you different people, but I want that as a table, so I'm just going to bring that across as a table like it was initially. So just drop that in and just click off everybody so it shows everybody, and then that gives you like a little filter area. So I can just click on these, don't need it to be that big, so I can make that quite small like so, and then just click away and it brings everybody back. So that's a different filter. And again, you can bring location across as a table, and then you've got Bradford, different places, Ashington, stuff like that. You can see how that works, and I click away from that, click away, brings it all back. Now in the filter area, so I've got location all, so if I drop that arrow down, you can actually tick these off by, I've been clicking on them, but you can actually tick these off as well. I mean, if I take blanks off, I don't want blanks off, select all and then take blanks off. That's it, so there's blanks off, and that makes that smaller. You've also got in there other options: basic filtering, advanced filtering, top number, top 5, top 10. So if I go for top 5, so I've typed 5 in there, but I need to put the value in there, so by spend, top 5 by spend, and that's the filter on there. So you've also got a filter option on this little arrow there. Location is not blank, that's just telling you the same information as this, so you can either filter in this bit or filter in this area, and you can hide these if you want. So what else haven't we looked at? We haven't looked at any dates, so I'll probably need to go on a separate sheet for dates, because that's going to be quite a long list, I would imagine, and I want that as a column graph. And then you can see by spend, if I tick spend, if it lets me tick spend, then we've got that, spend by year. Now the filters, it's date, day, date, month, date, year. So quarter, I could take some of these off, so it's showing all years. It's how you want to explain, how you want to display this. So this is the information. If I don't want years, it's probably going to get a bit bigger. Quarters, that's quite good. I quite like that. Let's get the quarter off and go by month. Just make that a full screen. So it's basically about playing around with these features on this right hand side and see if it's suiting your needs. And again, there's nothing being filtered there. It's not affecting these other sheets. So whatever you filter on this one is just for this sheet. So colleague, Anne Pearson, filters her, Carol Mason, etc., etc. So you can then bring that one in. So just repeat myself really here. Click away to bring all the filters back. If you want to format this graph to make it a bit more pretty to look at, if you like, you can click on this little roller here, and it gives you lots of options to format various elements of the graph. So for example, if I want to change the data colors, the default color is that. If I don't want it to be that, I can change it to be that color. Or if you tick show all, it will allow you to change colors for individual months so it stands out a little more, or you might want to do that manually. And then you can see it's changing colors there. And as you go down this list, there's lots of different data labels, off, on, so that gives you the figures above, which is quite cool. And then I'll just collapse that out of the way. You can change the color of that if you want, just so it stands out a bit more, black maybe. And then title, spend by month. If you don't want that spend by month, you can change that. Just call it spending, just so I can change it so you can see it. So it's changed up there now to spending, and it just claps that out of the way. And then you've got background color for the whole thing. Let's go for a light grey color. That looks okay. Collapse that out of the way. And then you've got borders, shadow and tooltip and things like that. So they're all format options. And then on this little option there, you've got analytics, it's called. So you've got constant line, and you can add, and then you can put a value in there. I don't want to put a value in there, get off. So you've got average, min, percentage line or percentile line. So let's add that for just to see what it looks like. And then you get this line coming across the top, and it says it's based on spend. And again, you can change the color if you want. So it's all, these tools are all there to help you make your visualizations as good as they can possibly be, and as easy to look at as they can possibly be. So that's all I want to talk about in this little one. Obviously there's a lot more that you can do. We've not looked at anything up here at all, but you've got the ability to create different dashboards on different sheets and have it displaying the information in whichever way you feel fit. So hopefully that was of use to you. Thank you for your time. I'll see you on the next one. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye for now.